To the people who are watching or listening, I have a question for you, but you're not obliged to answer. However, I want you to ponder on it. Do you love to speak in English? Because if you do, let me ask you another question. Did you ever experience a situation where you couldn't read a word in a sentence or a line in a poem? Good day, everyone. I am Angelica Manuel, 11 Euclid, STEM. This is my speech, English as the International Language. When I was a kid, my teacher asked me to read a line in a poem, and she was just like this. Angelica, can you please read this line and explain? As she handed me the paper, I stared blankly into it. I couldn't understand, not even a word. So I handed her back the paper, and I shook my head. Okay, I will read it to you, but tell me what you understood. She told me, and as she read the line in front of her class, I didn't understand. I couldn't comprehend, and I was clueless. One time, there's a visitor in our church, a couple missionary from Salt Lake, Utah, and yes, they are foreigners. Our auxiliary department, primary, ages 11 and below, were appointed to give them a warm welcome. I stood there with my church friends side by side waiting for them to shake our hands. But before that day, my friend in the church, Leah, told me to just nod my head if they started talking to me and say the word, yeah, as if I understood. And the atmosphere in the room started to feel humid and hotter as they approached me, and my hands were freezing cold. As we shook hands, his wife's eyebrows wrinkled. Your hands are cold, sweetie, she said. And I felt nervous because I didn't understand what she said. But I have one thing in my mind. I nod my head and smiled widely at her and say the word, yeah. Are you sick? She asked me. And I felt anxious because she gave me that worried face, that expression, and I didn't know what to say. So I nervously smiled wildly at her again, nodded my head, while uttering the word, yeah. Tough times, tough choices. She then started checking my head, my tongue and my eyes, and it turns out that she's a doctor in Utah. It is important for us to learn and love the English language because it helps us in different ways. We aren't sure if when we are going to interact to the people who speak the language. It is for our progress, understanding, and interactions. I was at a young age, but it marked my mind that a person who speaks in English is intelligent. So I thought that is the measure of your IQ. Practicing English is important not only to become smart, but also to enhance and develop on how we communicate with other people from different countries. When I was a kid, I only thought about English as a subject because we learn it at school. Unknowingly, I've come to love the international language. From the teachers who taught me about the proper use of such words, the exams I took in other subjects, the novels I've read, the music I've heard, and movies I've watched. Little by little, my vocabulary and fluency have become more advanced. Now that as I grew up, I learned that the English language is not the measure of your IQ. It is not the basis of your intelligence. Many people who did not finish school are very fluent in English, especially those places where tourists visit often because they are able to communicate freely and they understand each other. The veil of the language barrier built among us around the world has been lifted. Through this, we can express ourselves and communicate with other people from different races. We can have friends not just in our country, but also around the world. Whoever we are, whatever education we've attained or social status we've built. After 4 years, the same couple missionary visited us again, and his wife remembered me. She looked at me and smiled at me. She asked me, "How have you been?" I said, "I'm good," and smiled at her. "Oh, you look good and not sick," she joked. And I said to her that you remembered. I was so happy because I am able to communicate with her. I am able to say something, not just nod my head and say the word yeah. As you can see, I have transformed. I did my very best to learn and love the international language. And it saved me and it helped me in various ways. I am able to do a lot of things with it. I have a lot of experience and it helped me to become who I can be and who I will be. Some of us drink coffee, and sometimes we love to add something into it to remove its plainness and make the taste better. Now, if you put a creamer to a coffee, it doesn't mean that you like the creamer better than the coffee. It's just that you like the blend of the creamer and the coffee because they fit together. In relation of becoming an English proficient, it doesn't mean that you're abandoning your native or national language. It's just that you have added knowledge to yourself. Educating ourselves is a lifelong process, an infinity loop, obtaining knowledge and loving it. Learning English language is a necessity nowadays. You have added knowledge to your capabilities in order to solve a communication barrier between you and other people, foreign people, in order to come to a similar understanding. And it generally applies when you're learning other languages such as Nihongo, Korean, Spanish, Latin, and many more languages around the world. For me, the goal that have been reached and will still be reaching by the next generations to come is for us to be able to understand each other through the English language. It is a lifetime improvement. Zach Proverb says, and I quote, "You live a new life in every language you speak. If you only know one language, you only live once." Frank Smith also says that one language opens the corridor to your life. Two languages opens every door along the way. And according to Rita Mae Brown, language is the road map of culture. It tells you where they came from and tells you where they're going. Let us all remember that learning English language or any language around the world is not abandoning the language that is born with us, but it is also a birthright to learn, explore, and progress. Once again, I am Angelica Manuel, 11 Euclid STEM. This is my speech, English as the International Language. Thank you.